Right, well, it's freezing cold. I'm in Toronto and my balls are freezing, so I want some vitamin C. So I want some sours. I'm not talking about the shit that comes out of gun. I've never seen anything like that before. But I want a real sours with proper, fresh citrus. Right, well, welcome to Bad Drinks TV. This is season 2. I'm your host H. If you don't know that by now you do, and there's lots of other episodes to watch. But we're going to talk about the sour. Now, the first actual reference of a sour or whiskey sour is actually here in Toronto. Yes, I say it with 2 T's. It has 2 T's in the fucking... Anyway, whatever. Right, fact of the matter is, it was actually by an Ackerman bar in 1856 with a handwritten cocktail list. But around 1862, this guy... Jerry Thomas, yes, Jerry Thomas, a guy who wrote a book in 1862, is one of the first ever published cocktail books, and he did 3 cocktails sours style. He had a gin sour, he had a Santa Cruz sour, that's rum, and a whiskey sour. And well, basically, it's sort of evolved a lot since then. When you read his book in 1862, the sour was basically base spirit, whiskey in this case, lemon, and sugar, and sometimes optional bitters, but that was mainly it. And obviously, if you know from previous shows, especially things like the daiquiri, well, a lot of people, especially those that live at sea, have already had that kind of mix already. So it's not really anything new. Alright, but there is also another argument that actually the whiskey sour is actually what's called a lesser punch. Okay, or the children of punch. And you get that information from another great book you should get your hands on, is this, Punch. Okay, this is a great book by David Wondrich. Alright, so what happened was, punches used to be this big giant bowl of oleo saccharum, which is basically just a fancy Latin word for fruit flavored sugar, sparkling champagne or sparkling wine, some tea, rums or gins and whatever, and some citrus. Okay, and put in a big giant bowl, generally rich old white people in fancy clubs or people taking over other people's countries, usually doing it that way, and then they used to pour it out into little cups. Alright, and so now bartenders made something that's a little smaller, and now we're going to have the sour. But this also changed again, because in 1920s Robert Vermeer added a little bit of egg whites to his drink. So now we have egg whites, spirit, lemon or lime, bitters and sugars. So I'm going to show you 3 sours that I love to make and 3 good examples. So obviously a whiskey sour. Bourbon, I like an overproof with this one, so Wild Turkey here. Gin, I'm doing a Clover Club, which is with some raspberries. It's a wonderful sour. And then a really good example of north and south of the equator. So south of the equator, I usually go with lime juice. North of the equator, I usually go with lemon juice. So south of the equator, a pisco sour. And I'm using a Peruvian. Yes, that could be controversial, especially if you're Chilean. But fact of the matter is, I'm using this, and we'll talk about that a bit more later. All right, so now, let's make some whiskey sours. Yeah. Now, generally, I do my whiskey sours in a martini glass or a coupe, okay, or a sours glass. The evolution of the glassware has changed, all right, and I have done a rant about sexualization of glassware, so you can just watch that instead. It used to be just a bar glass, then it went to like a little sort of sours glass, then it went to this kind of glass, and some of them went into glasses like this. So the stemware started going up. It doesn't really matter. You can put it in a coffee cup, a teacup, a mug. Who gives the flying But just so as, you know, to help men feel a little bit more manly about themselves, we're going to do it into a rocks glass, all right? But I generally do it in sours. So here it is, really easy. But please try and use fresh juice. Do not use the stuff that comes out of a fucking jar in a supermarket, right? Or comes out of a gun, or out of a plastic bag. Not good. Fresh juice. I like a little oomph with my whiskey sours, and I'm going with Wild Turkey 101. So just try and find something like overproof bourbon. Reason why is because I find that sours can drown out a lot of weaker, lower ABV drinks. So I'm going to add 2 ounces of bourbon. Okay. Then I'm going to add, and I do a rich syrup, remember? So it's a 2-to-1, but if you're doing a 1-to-1, add a little more. Just half an ounce of my rich syrup. And then, all right, here's a little one. Okay, so eggs. If you're a little worried about using them, you can do this if you want, if it makes it a bit easier for you. Crack it over the side in a separate one, if you'd like so. Okay, all right. Put it in, boom, like so. All right. Then, now some people add the bitters after. I like mine in, so just 1, 2. There you go. All right. And that's Angostura. You can use orange bitters if you want as well. It's not the end of the world, right? And then, look at this. Yes, it's a fresh lemon. Oh my God. Let's try and use them. Okay. So now we have 2 ounces of overproof whiskey, half an ounce of a rich 2-to-1 syrup, egg whites, bitters. And then we're going to add 1 ounce of nice fresh lemon juice. Okay. Just a little bit more. And there we go. Okay. So here's what I do. Now, a little bit of a technical term here for you. It's called dry shaking. Yes, I know it sounds like a bit of a disgusting, dirty sex word, but or something that we all do when we're children, you know, like boarding school. Yeah, communal dorms and all that. So do a dry shake first, okay? Really emulsify, because what you're doing is you're basically emulsifying the eggs, which is combining all those flavors, all that liquid, everything all together, okay? It's like making a little bit of a pie, okay? Then untap, it's a little bit fancier, and then I just do a nice little throw, okay? All right, like so. Then and a whole load of ice, and give it a good shake. Give it some welly, some oomph, whatever. There we go. Right. Then put some nice fresh ice in. You can dirty pour if you want. I have some customers that love a dirty poured sour. It's not a problem, it's not the end of the world. All right. Then, as I said again, use like a drawbridge. Just pour it over into there. All right. Oh, fuck me. This is gonna be fucking lovely. All right. And then, garnish. You can do dehydrated orange peel, lemon peel, whole dehydrated lemon or orange wedges. Cherries I think are better, so we'll do it. Got some really cool little garnish sticks here. Got some cherries. Let's get a few more. And then, oops. There we go. Oh yeah. And there it is. Very lovely whiskey sour. Alright. Oh, this is going to be wonderful. Yes, I am getting my vitamin C, and yes, I know it's going to be counteracted by the alcohol, but it's going to taste good. Oh yeah. Oh, this is my favorite bit. I love cocktail cherries. Best part of the thing. Oh. Oh, that'll happen. And in the next part, we're going to do a Clover Club and a Pisco Sour. All right. See you next time. F off and get home safe, motherfuckers.